When's the last time you talked to a trusted platonic male in your life about your dating patterns? My name is Asha Lapps, and I help women in their 30s and 40s who have struggled with dating and healthy relationships to date successfully in order to attract loving and fulfilling, healthy love. So today I have some homework for you. Have you ever taken the time to speak with a male friend, perhaps a brother, a cousin, an uncle, to get some honest feedback from them on what they've observed to be some of your dating patterns? If you've never done this, I am going to challenge you to find that person in your life and do a little exercise. So why is this exercise so important? As you get into your 30s, your 40s, and above, and you have potentially struggled with dating and relationship, things are not necessarily looking up, what can tend to happen is you might start to settle, you might start to compromise, you might start to look at the clock, thinking that it's ticking. And if you're not taking deliberate and intentional progress towards learning how to date properly, you can start to get discouraged, lose hope that it's possible, and that's where you may end up just settling or dating or settling for somebody who is potentially not the greatest choice for you. So if you've, again, never spoken to a trusted friend, a cousin, brother, uncle about what they have seen throughout the years of your dating and the potential partners that you're picking, if you take the time to actually do this exercise, you might be extremely surprised at what they've seen, and you might wonder why they never told you about this in all the years that they've known you. So take a moment and think of who that person can be for you. So again, is it a brother? Is it a cousin? Is it an uncle? Maybe you have a platonic friend who can be honest with you. And I want you to ask them if they would be willing to have a little conversation with you and be honest with you about what they've observed in your dating patterns, again, the people that you've chosen to date. And I want you to let them know that you are actually going to listen to them and that they have permission to be honest with you. And your job then is to be quiet. So if you have to put a piece of duct tape on your mouth, whatever you've got to do to resist the urge to say something. So I want you to ask them that question, let them know that they have your permission to be completely honest, and I want you to be quiet. If you need to get a pen and a piece of paper and start to take notes, and once you let them know that they have your permission to be completely honest, it is so, so important to stop talking and let them be honest with you. And again, heads up, you may not like what they have to say. You may not like what you're going to hear, but this is going to be a hack in your growth for dating successfully. And why is this going to work? Because the difference between men and women, unless you are lucky enough to have friends that are super honest with you, our friends often don't want to hurt our feelings. They keep us in perpetual over-analysis in what it means when a guy does this or a guy does that. Okay, maybe he means this. Okay, maybe he means that. And you spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours chatting and chatting and chatting over something that talking to another man would tell you clearly what's going on. So when you have a man in your life do this for you, it's so important because number one, he is going to be honest. He's going to be honest. He's going to be brutally honest, but this is what you need. There's going to be no sugarcoating anything. So he's going to give it to you direct, direct, and again, direct and honest. And again, the issue is a lot of us are again surrounded by our girlfriends and women, and let's face it, like part of the support of a female friend group is we like to chat, we like to connect, and we do that by talking and communicating with each other. But when it comes to heartache and relationships that aren't working out well, sometimes our friends are not necessarily the best places to go get that advice. So if you can go to a trusted male or man in your life, it can really save you a lot of potential time and heartache. Number two reason why it's important and that I would challenge you to do this exercise is because, in addition to being very honest, men are just logical thinkers. So for us, we think with our emotions, and once we are emotionally attached to a man, it prevents us from now seeing things really as they are. And when we get too attached too early on in the process, when we haven't vetted somebody properly, when we haven't used proper standards and proper boundaries, perhaps we've slept with somebody way too early in the process, it now creates in us the tendencies to become very illogical. So speaking to a trusted man in your life brings the logic back to the equation, and they will really, again, just tell you as they see it. So for example, we might tell our girlfriends, okay, I went out with somebody, but he hasn't called me, so I'm gonna call him and I'm gonna text him. Maybe I'll go drop by his work and bring him something. And a guy will tell you, you went out with him, he hasn't called you. Why are you gonna call him? Why are you going to text him? For him, it would be like, that just doesn't make any sense. So again, a man will just cut through all of the crap, all of the bullshit, and just bring the logic and bring the grounding back to the situation. He will take you out of the clouds, out of what you wish and hope and think this is, and tell you from a man's perspective exactly what it is that you're dealing with. And oftentimes it might be what you don't want to hear, but it's what you need to hear in order to move forward and stop wasting your time, quite frankly. So often what we are clueless about and what we are sometimes confused about is so clear and just obvious to them. And this is what you need. You need that brutal honesty. And I had the luck of having somebody come into my life when I was 25. A lot of my early dating plunders, he just came in and he said, "Why would you do that, Asha?" Or "That doesn't make any sense, Asha." Or "You're on a date, you don't have to do that, Asha. You're a valuable person. You're a queen. You don't have to put yourself in these kinds of situations." And that was the first time in my life that somebody had explained the male psyche to me, or how men think, or what I didn't have to do as somebody who was really, I would say, insecure, had a low sense of self and self-worth. And that encounter was a game changer for me. Until this day, he is still a great friend of mine, but he really came into my life at a crucial point where he really explained things to me, and it helped. And did I continue to take his advice over time? I would say no. So that was kind of like a first step in the early 20s. I honestly really got this whole thing going into my early to mid 30s. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Hopefully you will take on my challenge to you. Go and find a trusted male in your life, not somebody who is romantically interested in you. I maybe wouldn't do that, but somebody who's platonic, or if you can handle it, and you have an ex that you're still maybe good friends with, or or on good terms, and you want to go back and say, hey, I just want to get your feedback. Maybe you dated, 10 or 15 years ago. Hey, what was it like? I would love your feedback. So ex, again, potentially a platonic male friend, a cousin, a brother, an uncle, just somebody who you trust to give you good advice. And again, make sure that you make it clear to them that they have the floor to speak, that you are going to be quiet, that you're going to listen, and that they have your permission to be brutally honest with you. So hopefully this is helpful. If you end up doing this, I'd love to hear from you. So leave me a comment, and feel free to subscribe for more videos that can help you as a woman in your 30s, 40s, and above to date successfully. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.